Okay, I've taken my rope and I put it in a vise, and I'm really going to pull a knot on it. I really want that really good. There we go. That's what I want. Now I'm going to cut the remainder off with a razor blade. Leave a little bit on there. There you go. That way you've got that rope really tight, that knot really tight, so it won't come loose. One's plenty. That's all you need. That's what they have in there. Now, this was deceptive, and the ropes are very deceiving. You think, well, I'm not going to replace my rope because it looks okay. And you get to pulling it out. I'm going to pull this thing out of here. If I can hold it. Get it all in one hand. If you look, right down there, you can see right the end of there. Gotta see if I can get some light in there. See that right there towards the end of the pulley? Right where it's going through that hole? It's just hanging by a thread. So a couple more pulls on this and it would have been all over. So what we're going to do is, I need to hold on to this at the same time while I'm doing this. So I'm going to have to hold on to the camera while I'm doing this. But essentially what I'm doing is I'm fishing this knot out right now with a pair of needle nose pliers. And I'm fishing this rope out of there. And I'm holding the spring so it doesn't undo. Trying to. It's getting awful heavy on my fingers. Maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. So I'm poking this through right now. And let's see if I can make this work. I have to bend this rope a little bit. Lordy, lordy, that's getting awful stiff on my fingers. Let's see if I can't make this go through. Yeah. There she is. Now, if I can get it just through that hole, then if I can get my needle nose in there. So lovely. Come on, baby. I know you want to go. You told me once before. Yes, now I'm going to pull this rope through there. Now you can see I have the rope and I have it on my fingers. And I'm going to pull that rope through that little deal. So let me set this down really quick. Set that down. Set this down. Pull that through there. There we go. Yeah, it doesn't want to go, but it's going to go, whether it likes it or not. Okay. Now we have the knot right there. See that? Through there like that. So what we can do is we can tuck that knot down there a little bit more. So let's tuck this down here. Tuck that in there. Oh, that's nice. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful thing right there. Now, we have our new rope in, and we're just going to let it rewind now. La 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 la. And it's going to get to a place where the thing's going to get filled up, and it's going to hang out because this rope's 6 miles long. Well, we're going to trim it down. Remember that this goes on the engine, and this rope has probably got a foot or so. You know, I mean, the engine's going to set right here, and it has to travel all this way up through this little hole right here, where the handle's out. So we're probably going to end up cutting a foot off of that. We'll take a good stroke on it and see how it is. And this rope here was only, yeah, we could probably cut a foot off of that. But I want to show you this rope here, right there at the end. It was all frayed and ready to break. It was starting to come apart right there. So you don't know about your ropes until you get the thing out of there. You know, you can pull the rope smooth out of the housing like this, and you can look at it and you say, "Oh, well, that rope's great. That's a new rope." Until you get to the very end of it where you can't see, and then you discover it's going to break on you. So in our pull start now we have a new rope. And that's how you put a rope in your pull start. Like that. We wiped out all the grease. We really you don't need that much grease in there. Somebody's got that really greasy. Don't need all that grease. Just taking it apart and probably had some problems with it. Another thing about grease is too, when you get grease cold, it doesn't want to move. And if you you might have problems with this later on if it gets really cold, where the dogs won't engage. But it's an easy fix. We can pull it all apart, take it apart again, and clean it up with some brake clean, and then shoot some graphite on it, and the graphite will work pretty good. But it seems to work. It seems to be okay. So I'm just going to let it ride like that. So there you go. There's our pull start, and we're going to set this aside, and that's good. So we're coming right along on it now. We have our cylinders done, we have our carburetors done, we have a new pull rope installed, and we're waiting on our crank. And probably the next thing I'll cover is we're going to do some crankcase cleaning, and I'll probably prep up our reed cages with some new reed valves. I have some new Boyson reeds for it. Yes, they are not pure Polaris. Boyson makes fantastic reed valves, and in my opinion, it will do this sled some justice without doing anything to the performance. Also, we're going to look at is we're going to rebuild the water pump. At best, this thing is goofy. I don't know who designed it, but I'm certain that they were heavy on drugs at the time, because how this thing operates, it doesn't operate off a belt. Instead, it operates off a gear driven by the crankcase. And you say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, when the seal fails on the pump, it fills your crankcase full of coolant. Yay! And catastrophic engine failure happens. So the old design, they used to have a belt that would run the water pump, and I see no problem with running the water pump with a belt, because if the seal fails or the bearings fail, it doesn't ruin your whole engine. It might get a little hot because the belt came off, but you have a temperature gauge and you can look at that, shut the engine off. But if the seal fails on your water pump now, it fills your crankcase full of glycol, and then you throw a rod or lock the engine up or any other number of things. So, I don't know what's going through these engineers' minds, but sometimes they're brilliant, and sometimes it just leaves you scratching your head. So, okay, we're going to go back to that later.